Electronic health records are used for accessing as well as storing patient medical information electronically. These records could be in the form of patient progress notes, problems, medication, past medical history, and so much more. Since all the medical information for patients are placed into one database, these records allow for access to patient information that is immediate. Privacy in healthcare can be defined as the rights any individual has to control his or her health information. This includes confidentiality and security of monitoring and auditing the release of any personal health information. In this presentation, we will be discussing privacy in relation to electronic health records, specifically focusing on policies, benefits, privacy concerns, and ways to address future privacy concerns regarding electronic health records. Individuals today consider personal health information to be more sensitive than things such as personal tax, social security, and banking information. It is essential for people to trust the electronic health record system to allow for protection against the security and privacy of personal information. For most countries, the protection for the privacy of health information have been implemented through the privacy codes and legislations which have been developed by the government.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandy and I'll be covering the privacy benefits of the electronic health record system that has been implemented in hospitals. The amount of doctors that are using electronic health record in Canada is growing rapidly, and patients are increasingly concerned of their privacy and security of their personal health information. Electronic health records include patients' medical records, such as medical history and notes, health information such as patient symptoms, diagnoses, medications, lab results, vital signs, immunizations, and reports from diagnostic tests such as X-rays. So let's go over some privacy benefits of electronic health record systems. Number 1. The use of safeguards such as strong encryption, strong passwords, firewalls, and physical security to protect one's personal health information. Strong encryptions are installed in electronic devices that are used to access or share medical records. Devices such as desktops, laptops, smartphones, tablets, USB keys, and portable hard drives are appropriately protected. Other key features that are involved in the electronic health record systems are digital signature services, secure audit services, and general security services. The digital signature services is related to the secure electronic signature of the users. The secure audit services confirms the secure logging of access to and use of the system. And lastly, the general security services addresses the activities related to scanning for viruses, secure backup of health information, archiving data, destroying data, restoration of data. All these key features decrease the risk of privacy breach. The electronic health record system also includes the user identity management services and user authentication services, which is to identify all users of the system, such as the registering users, assigning roles that define who accesses the system, and also to identify of a user logging into the system. This would guarantee privacy, and a patient would feel better knowing who is accessing their personal health information. Another important privacy and security architecture that is part of the electronic health record system is the access control services. This ensures that personal health information can only be accessed by users who they need to know. This is to ensure that users are collecting one's personal health information for a purpose. Additional security systems that are already in place with electronic health record systems are unique user ID, authentication processes such as passwords and biometrics, and also security role assignments such as physicians, admissions, and clerks. On the other hand, physicians are trained to ensure privacy of patients' information to minimize risk of privacy breaches. Physicians are most responsible when it comes to the protection of a patient's personal health information, such as restricting access, preventing loss and theft of health information, and also maintaining the privacy of patients' personal health information, ensuring that the information is stored in a safe and secure manner. The HIM professionals play a huge role in the management of electronic health record systems. They have a responsibility to ensure that policies, procedures, and processes are in place to protect the privacy of an individual, the confidentiality of information, and the physical security of health information. They're considered as custodians of health information, whether it is on paper or in the electronic health environment. The HIM professionals make sure that the electronic health record system has the technology to safeguard all health information and that it is in the compliance with the industry standards. And lastly, the most important privacy benefit of the electronic health record system is that the Government of Canada has created the Personal Health Information Protection Act, known as PHIPA, to establish rules for the collection, use and disclosure of personal health information about individuals that protect the confidentiality of that information, and the privacy of individuals with respect to that information while facilitating the effective provision of health care. Several privacy policies have been instilled upon the electronic health records to have rights over one's own health information. These policies make certain of secure transfer, retention, and disclosure of electronic health record systems.
My name is Zafra, and I will be discussing some of the current privacy policies that are in place today. There are currently many laws in Canada that are related to privacy concerning electronic health records. Let's take a look. The Privacy Act relates to the access and corrections any individual can make to personal health information. In order to ensure that privacy was maintained, there were two important documents that were put into place to protect personal health information. These documents are the Canadian Standard Association 10 Principles, also known as the CSA Principles, and the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Document Act, or PIPEDA, which is the federal legislation. To get into more detail about the Canadian Standards Association, the CSA Principles was first published in the year 1996, and two very important categories were created. Firstly, there needed to be a guideline on how organizations should use, disclose, and collect information. Furthermore, these principles also describe the rights an individual has to access any personal health information and make any further corrections if necessary. The Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act was built in order to protect personal health information on the CSA 10 Principles. This legislation covers the responsibilities that organizations and businesses have, as well as the individual rights under the Act. These rules set how the private sector can use, disclose, or collect information across Canada. Sometimes there can be situations where the privacy legislation cannot be appropriate in the healthcare facility. When the legislations for privacy do not apply, the 10 principles are still in place. To introduce provincial privacy laws, every province in Canada has their own legislations by the private sector. These legislations do not act upon the Privacy Act, but relate to the provincial government agencies. FIPA is a legislation in Ontario that sets out the rules that health custodians must follow when using, collecting, and disclosing personal health information. There are specific requirements for electronic health records relating to FIPA. Steps are taken to limit and only keep information that is necessary and reasonable in order to maintain and develop the electronic health record. Only the original health custodian can view the personal health information. No one else is allowed to view it unless consent is given.
Hi everyone, I'm Abby. New technology often frightens people. People tend to like things the way they are or the way they have always been. When implementing something new, whether it be a new practice, policy, or in our case, new technology, it is important to take into consideration some concerns and problems people may have with it. Electronic health records are becoming the new normal in our healthcare system. We are slowly starting to make the shift from paper records to electronic ones. When implementing something new, like electronic health records, privacy is one of the biggest concerns. Let's talk about the privacy concerns in electronic health records.
To start, since we are moving from a paper-based to electronic health record, the number one risk is that people now have enhanced convenience of accessibility and distribution of health information. Second, there are many uncertainties and disagreements regarding personal data and personal identifiable information. The concern is that data can be potentially identifiable and overly identifiable to a specific individual. There is little knowledge on how to deal with privacy and confidentiality implications for relatives of patients. Debate about the ethical and legal appropriateness of consent and the sharing of data is a huge concern among Canadian citizens. There are difficulties in specifying who the data controller is or controllers are and where responsibilities and accountabilities lie. As Canadians, we are left wondering if the proper time and financial investments are being put into place to see adequate security systems and policies. Many concerns have been raised about the accuracy and reliability of data entered into the electronic record. Unauthorized access, identity theft, and hacking are all of public concern when mentioning electronic health records. Also, there are worries surrounding the effect certain patient information in relation to sexual or mental health might have on the quality of care or even access to appropriate health care. Individuals who found errors in their medical records are questioning if the implementation of electronic health records will affect the spread of incorrect information, thus running into problems regarding future diagnosis or treatment decisions. When research is involved, people are concerned that their personal health information may be used without them knowing and without their consent. Let's stop and think here. If privacy concerns are not carefully taken care of, the people to whom the health data relate may be offended on principle by a violation of confidentiality promises. There are privacy and confidentiality policies in place. However, the common perception is that matters such as consent, identifiability, safeguarding, security, and the transfer of data are inadequate. What can we do to ensure secure electronic health records? People want to know that their personal health information is kept private and secure. It is important that they are informed of the new policies and procedures in place to ensure privacy so that no further concerns arise. Communication to the public about their personal health information is a key part in the advancement of electronic health records.
Hey everyone, my name's Ashika, and I'm going to talk about how to address privacy concerns that may arise as Canada makes the transition to electronic health records. In particular, I will be discussing the use of policy and education to aid in lessening people's fears over privacy breaches. One way to address privacy concerns is by coming up with new policies that could better secure patient information stored within an electronic health record. In the case of Ontario, according to a 2015 news release from the provincial government's website, they have already thought of making amendments to PHIPAA as a way to discourage privacy breaches of patient records. According to the news release, if the proposed changes are passed, they would establish privacy and security requirements for the shared electronic health record, clarify the authorities under which healthcare providers may collect, use, and disclose personal health information in the electronic health record, outline rules respecting an individual's right to mask his or her personal health information through a consent directive, and finally, clarify the limited circumstances under which a healthcare provider may override an individual's consent directive to reduce significant risk of serious bodily harm when timely consent is not possible. If these amendments are passed, they will provide healthcare providers with a better understanding of the conditions under which they may access and use patient electronic health information, which would, in turn, make the information more secure. In addition, the existence of these amendments may help lessen patients' fears about privacy breaches. For these reasons, policies should be considered useful tools for addressing privacy concerns regarding the electronic health record. Another way to address privacy concerns is to provide the public with educational materials. The success of doing this is demonstrated by a U.S. study that was published in 2009 in the Journal of Medical Internet Research. For the study, participants were given a draft consent form that asked permission to share the information among different healthcare providers. They were also given a booklet elaborating on the health information exchange, privacy considerations, data security, and contact information. After they read everything, they were told to fill a questionnaire that asked if they would sign the consent form based on what they learned from the booklet they received. 88% of participants said that yes, after reviewing the booklet, they would give their consent. After completing the questionnaire, the participants took part in a group discussion, which revealed that most of them believe patients should receive information about the electronic health record exchange by mail well before they're asked to provide consent in the doctor's office. That way, they would be able to take the time to thoroughly understand what they were signing up for without feeling rushed. This study demonstrates the importance of providing education to the public about electronic health records as they're being implemented. Making the transition from paper-based records to electronic records is a big decision, and it should be one that the public is informed about. That way, their fears about things like privacy breaches can be lessened, and they are more likely to respond positively to the change, as was indicated by the study. This is why, along with implementing new policies, providing educational materials, such as booklets, is something that should be considered as Canada switches from paper records to electronic records. Within this presentation, we first discussed the various safeguards that are in place to protect information stored within an electronic health record. Second, we talked about current policies in place in Canada that help protect patient information. In particular, we discussed PHIPAA, the CSA 10 principles, and PIPEDA. Third, we mentioned many privacy concerns that are associated with electronic health records. Finally, we discussed how privacy concerns can be addressed in the future through improved policies and education. This concludes our video presentation. We really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.